Hello, everybody. Good morning. And welcome to Painting with Goose. Very exciting. I hope you guys are all having a lovely day. I'm very excited for today's stream. It has been a minute since I've painted. I'm pretty excited about it. We do have a new point reward. No song request today because we are on YouTube. But we do have a new point reward. I have a ton of art reference books. And as long as we have a camera up, if you want to see any of them, that is there. Let's see what else is going on. Prisma, you can use it 12 times. Well, I have more than 12 books, so that is okay. Have I checked that YouTube chat is linked? Thank you very much, Fizz. Let's see. It should be. Thank you, Lockett. That would be fantastic if you could test that for me. Oh, I just opened up the program and it disappeared off of my dock. Okay, hold on. It reset. Oh, there we go. Okay, you guys are back. Okay, on my end it says we're connected. So let's see if that's true. I'm going to add a new scene so you guys can... Oh, there we go. YouTube chat connected successfully now. Hey, there we go. Hi, Mike. How's it going? I'm going to add a new scene for the image. So you guys can see what we're painting. This painting is actually a commission for someone I know. This is their horse. We're painting a horse today. But more so than the horse, it's got some nice clouds. What do I usually paint? I usually do abstract surrealism, fantastical surrealism, abstract realism. I don't know. I usually lean towards realism, or not realism. I usually lean towards abstract, and then I try to like light it like it's realistic. Can you show us one of those painting with the long guys? Oh yeah, I can show you guys some paintings with the long guys. Okay, hold on. Let me get all this stuff up. Okay, so there's the horse that we're painting, and I will get the starting screen out in just a second. Let me make sure the camera's working. Nice. All right, we're here. Okay, I'm going to put the starting screen soon up for just a second, and I will go grab one of the Long Boy paintings. I'll go grab one of the Long Boy paintings, and we'll be right back. Okay, I'm back. I know, right? Aren't those nice clouds? That's why I'm very excited to do this. I love painting clouds. Okay, so my camera seems to be having some trouble focusing. So I'll do the best I can. Hey, what up, Snarple? All right, so here's some Long Boy paintings. It's a triptych that I did. It's called Dancing Ghosts. We have Dancing in the Rain is the first one. This one is Dancing with Myself. And the last one is I Don't Want to Dance. And these guys are just, there's a little bit of oil. It's mostly ink, so it's like a burnt sienna. These are also on paper. Is it focusing okay? Yeah, you can see the sheen difference on that. So it's burnt sienna on paper, and then I do the drawing in ink, which is where it's really shiny. And then I'll like reform it with oil paint, which is where you can see it's kind of opaque. So these have some oil paint, but they're not like fully oil paints, but they're mostly oil paints. Locket, wait, they're so good. What, did you think they would be bad? They're very shiny because they are varnished. That is why they're so shiny. It's because they have varnish. Actually, they're so shiny you can see the tape that I used to hold my ring light together because it's broken. Fizz, you can't eat these. They're oil paint. And I actually think I painted these when I still used Naples Yellow. Which I think the tube I had of Naples Yellow had a little bit of lead in it, so don't eat these. They have lead in them, maybe. Let me find somewhere to set these real quick. I also built these frames. These are custom frames. Hey, thank you very much for the follow. Diatomic Kitten, I like that name. That's funny you say that, Prismate, because lead actually is tasty, which is one of the reasons that it's so dangerous. Lead oxide has a sweet taste to it, which is why kids often eat lead paint chips, because they kind of taste good. Okay, let me go set these somewhere. What's the one that you can chew safely? Indium? Oh yeah, I think indium. Oil paint is actually edible. It depends on the pigment, but oil paint is just linseed oil, which is just flax seed oil. So, I mean, the oil in oil paint is completely edible, and is actually like a supplement. I have a bottle of flax oil upstairs, and that's the same as linseed oil. It's just that painting oil is cleaned and filtered and refined a lot more. Reminds me of Beksinski. I like Beksinski. Praise me, Redeemed show us a cool art book. Okay, cool. All right. We'll never get to the paintal, but it's going to be fun. Could you eat or drink paint? It depends on the paint. Snarple, go paint. Paint. Do I paint buildings sometimes? Sometimes. I do. If I do, I did a lot of plein air painting, which is like painting outside. And I would do like corners of buildings I like to do. So it'd be like a chunk of the sky and then like part of the building. But I don't do a lot of like architectural painting. How hard is it to make oil paint at home? It's really easy. Yeah, it's really easy to make oil paint at home. We can do that one day for a stream. I can show you guys how to make oil paint. That'd be kind of fun. Okay, let me grab an art book. All right. Okay, the first one we will look through. Let's do Willem de Kooning. I really like Willem de Kooning. Willem de Kooning is an abstract expressionist. He is a very influential painter, especially in the sense that when you see a lot of like abstract art that my kid could do, a lot of that is often referencing Willem de Kooning. But he was a very, very good draftsman and very thoughtful. And I can't believe I flipped open to this page. This is my favorite painting by him. This is Excavation. It's very big. I think it's like 80 by 100 inches. So yeah, it's you know, almost 10 feet by 10 feet. Not quite, like 8 by 10 feet ish. And I love this painting. This painting has been a very big influence on a lot of my paintings in terms of like some of my abstract stuff, especially more recently. From the stories that I've heard, he painted this during his divorce. And the whole, also, let me just go on a rant about this real quick. I hate when books, it's cut by the size of the page. I hate that they do this. I would rather them just do a smaller one, because this is like his most famous painting. And they put it on a 2-page spread that's just like split down the middle. It drives me absolutely insane. Oh yeah, okay, so Fizz looks like a lot of Screaming Mouse and Twisted Cloth. So there's a lot of like yelling faces in here. There's a lot of like boxes and items. And it was, from what I understand, it was during his divorce. And it was just about like the excavation of their relationship, and like moving and going through all your things and like hashing everything out and like just that whole thing. Oh, there we go. Now it's in focus. So I really, really like de Kooning. Let's go to some of his other stuff. A lot of his stuff was very like weird shapes, mostly focused on color, and like emotional gesture drawing. But I really, really recommend de Kooning in terms of just like interesting abstract composition, because it's very rough stuff, but he was a really good draftsman. Like, he knew the shapes that he was making. He knew the line work that he was doing. Like, it was intentional, because he was really good at drawing. Like this is another one of his, that's one of his drawings, you know? Like, it's not like he didn't know how to draw. And that's one of the things that I really, really appreciate about him. Also, I guess I'll give a fair warning. Since we're flipping through art books, there is a non-zero chance that there will be artistic nudity in these. So keep that in mind. But if it's anything like egregious, I will just skip it. Alistair, stop it. You're banned. Snarple, you love de Kooning? Hell yeah. Anyway, yeah. Willem de Kooning. Very, very interesting artist. Really recommend checking him out. Okay. You guys ready to start painting? Thoughts on George Condo? I don't know George Condo. Send me some of his stuff on Discord. Maybe I'll recognize it. How important is it for people interested in art students to read up on art books? I think that they're a very, very good resource to have. That being said, I have a lot of art books and I almost never use them. It's nice that when I need to or when I want to, I can go and like look through them for reference, and more to like talk about it and show other people. So I don't think it's super important to do that, to have art books or to like read up on them. What I do think is really important though is to read up on art history, which art books tend to have a lot. Sometimes art books are just collections of artwork, but like artist biographies and like where they put it in context, like chronologically, the art and all that stuff, that I think is very, very important to read. And very, very useful. Hey, what up, Sam? How's it going? Snarple, I bet I will. Let's see. George Condo. Okay. I do like these. I don't think I've seen these before. This one especially, I'll pull them up so you guys can see them. Do, 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 do. Where is my Windows capture? There it is. Okay, so here's a painting by George Condo. Hey, Wheeler, how's it going? Shame there's no show-off request where we can see other stuff you've painted. That is because most of my paintings are signed, and I don't want to show my signature. I will, though, if it comes up, I can grab some that don't have my signature on them. There's some other ones by him. I like this stuff. I like all of these, actually. These are all really interesting. And these are interesting to me, too, because I do not like Picasso. I don't know. I like taste-wise, I'm just not a fan of Picasso. But I love the influence that Picasso had on art. Like, this is 100% just, it's pulled from Picasso style and stuff like that. Thank you for the follow, Kristen. Yeah, 100% just pulled from Picasso's style. But I like this more than I like Picasso. Yeah, these are really, really cool. Okay, let's get back to painting. And these also remind me a lot of Van Minen, who I have that art book. That'll be one of the ones that we'll show at some point. Do I sometimes want to paint what you build or the other way around? Yes. Yeah, sometimes I will build what I paint, too. Sometimes when I don't know what to build, I'll be like, well, I have this old sketch or something like that. That's what a lot of the figures are that I do. Rail, you absolutely need to find time to paint. Dragonfall, we are painting. Well, we're talking about painting, and eventually we will start painting. Speaking of which, I'm going to make sure this is dry because I forgot to put another layer of primer on it. Okay, yeah, it's good enough. It is going to be a small painting, just 5x7. Yeah, enough, just a picture-sized painting. Okay, I'm going to grab some charcoal, and we're going to start. Okay, so this is vine charcoal. It is, I don't know why this won't focus. Anyway, this is vine charcoal. It is the cheapest charcoal that you can buy. It erases basically without an eraser. And it is literally just, if I can get this to focus, maybe you can see it. Focus on my hands, come on. Okay, well, it's not focusing. You can still kind of see that like lighter section in the middle of it. That is because this is literally just a willow stem, like a stem from a willow tree, that you cook without oxygen, and it turns into charcoal. Super easy to make yourself. Is drawing animals tougher than humans because of the anatomy difference? I think drawing animals is much easier because of the anatomy difference, because I'm not worried about, like, does it look right? It's a lot easier for me to just look at it as shapes, rather than look at it like... if a human anatomy is off, is really, really obvious because we look at humans so much. But, you know, if animal anatomy is off, it's not too big of a deal. Like, it is, but it's easier to, like, get away with. And the nice thing about this charcoal, too, is because it is so fine, you can erase it pretty much with your finger, but it won't color the paint, so I can just paint right over it. Also, it was requested for this commission that we remove the fence, so it'll just be this without the fence, which is nice. and we're just getting a very rough block in just so we can kind of see where everything's going to go. And make sure that we generally have proportions correct. But it's not going to look like a horse yet. It will a little bit. The other really nice thing about Vine Charcoal is that if you use sandpaper, you can get this to a really, really, really fine point. What type of colors are we going to be? We'll be doing oil, and I'll be going over the pigments that we'll be using in just a sec. Look at that. Perfect horse. And also, so when you're doing oil paintings like this, you want to work background to foreground. So we're actually going to be painting we're going to be doing the whole sky before we even start doing the horse and the grass. Is the ground rounded off in the reference? No, not quite, but that's okay. It's, this is super rough sketch. There's a lot more we're going to do before we start worrying about like actual specifics. I guess I'll make a note of it as long as we're talking about it though. Yeah, there's a lot that's going to change before we actually start getting in shapes. Like that. That's all that we really need for the horse, just so we know where the horse is. And that's the other nice thing about painting too, is that like it doesn't have to be perfect, because if you want it to be perfect, you just take a picture. There's a lot of good, useful knowledge in recreating paintings exactly, or pictures exactly, but there's also a lot of really interesting stuff that happens when you don't. Like these clouds aren't in the exact right place, and I'll move them around a little bit. Yeah, like I need to move this whole upper cloud up a little bit. The other thing too is this photo is not 5x7, but we're going to be moving this into a 5x7 canvas. Fizz, you absolutely should. Painting digitally is fun too. I much prefer traditional just because I really like the physicality of it. I like the feeling of it. I like the process. I really like the materials. So we can just kind of wipe that off because I want to move it. My favorite thing about clouds too is that you just scribble. You just scribble and it looks good. The more constrained you try to be with clouds, the worse they look. So now we're doing the section that is darker. And another thing to keep in mind when you're sketching for painting like this is that as you paint, it's going to push things around. So, you know, you kind of have to keep that in mind as you're painting. So another thing, now that I'm looking at this, looking up at the composition that we have, so the image that we have is about that big. And I've kind of squished it and lengthened it to fit it in here. And now that I'm looking at it, I'm wondering if it might be better for me to just draw the painting in there and then make up the clouds that'll be on either side of it. Yeah, I think that might look better. So I'm gonna grab a kneaded eraser and we're gonna move the horse in and kind of like squish everything in. I really like the physicality of being able to pressing Control Z is really good. I like that. That was funny. Like when I was doing the bakery thing, like the introduction when I became a baker, one of the questions is, "What's your favorite command?" And I put Control Z, or I put undo was my favorite command because it's true. You know, we're just gonna start over. Okay, so we're looking at it now. The edges of the canvas, or the edges of the image, are going to be right there. So this way we can mark... This way we can fit the blue sky up in there a little bit too. And then we'll just imagine what is past it. We're doing the same thing again, just getting a really rough shape of where things are. We'll put the horse right about here. So the horse is going to be a little smaller, but I think that's going to work well. It's too big. So that's about where the horse will be. Yeah, I like that. And I like that this cloud right here matches kind of the like angle of the horse, so I might accentuate that a little bit. That meets right at the back of the horse. Goes across that way. There we go. Okay. Yeah, I think that's better. Better for composition. Hey, Joel, how's it going? I'm sorry if you hear me blowing. So this gets a little dusty on there, and instead of erasing it, you can also just blow it, and it blows off enough of the dust that you can start working over top of it again. I'm going to have to get closer, let's see, to do the horse details, so my mic is going to be away from my face. Joel, I'm working on a painting. I'm making that painting up in the top left corner. Some of those shapes are off, but we'll fix that up while we go along. Oh, it is so blurry. I don't know why it won't autofocus. Weird. Okay, well, we'll zoom out in a sec. Who's my favorite artist? I have no idea. There's so many artists that I like. Like in terms of painters, I really like Van Minnen. I really like Wendell Gladstone. In terms of like draftsmen, there's a bunch of others I really like. There's a ton of like mangaka that I really like. There's too many to choose from. You like your brother's art? Nice. I like that. Horse. Legs are a little long. Maybe I might get some different charcoal. So because the horse is the most important part of this, I'm going to draw the horse first, and then I'm just going to lower the ground so that it fits with the horse. With painting like these, do you try to keep the original composition of shapes, or do you change it to something I like more? It's a bit of both. I change it a little bit to kind of make it easier. Sometimes I'll change it to make it fit better. Like this is a different size than the photo, so we're changing a little bit there. But I like to keep. I think it's better to keep the gesture and the lighting, like the value structure, the same. And then you can have a little bit more playroom with the composition. Last thing you remember making was a watercolor of a flower. I've been wanting to get back into paint as my current medium limestone has been quite hard on my body. I want to do stone sculpting so bad. But you should get back into painting. And then send me all your sculpting stuff so I can get into it. Locket, I know exactly the video that you're talking about, and I do clouds in a very similar way, so you'll kind of get to see that. Yeah. I don't know who Andrew Tischler is. No. Now, what happens here is I tend to get too caught up in some of the details when I'm doing stuff like this. And I need to remember that I just need the proportions. I just need the proportions. And the rest will kind of do itself. Look his landscapes up? Okay, I will. I use oil paints. I do acrylic painting too, but oil painting is my favorite. And I use Rublev when I can. Rublev is expensive, but it is the best paint. Second choice is Michael Harding. I'm sorry, it's so blurry. There we go. Second choice is Michael Harding. And I still have some like Winsor Newton and stuff like that. But these are the better ones. Hell yeah. Okay, that is I need to not focus on this too much because I don't need to. I'm gonna cover all of this with paint anyway. What oil mediums do I use? I try to just use linseed oil. I use liquid if I like really need to. But yeah, I try not to. I try to keep it pretty non-toxic. I do use turpentine sometimes. Okay, let's go. What's my favorite game other than this? Oh, I don't know. Other than Minecraft, I really like Oblivion. That's like got a good place in my heart. I used to really like Overwatch. I don't really like Overwatch 2. There's a lot of games that I really like. Okay, so we're going to be moving into mixing colors a little bit and working on the clouds, and we'll worry about the horse in a little bit. So the blue that we're looking at here, let me make this a little bigger so you guys can see it. So the blue we're looking at up here is a little bit closer to green. It's closer to blue, but it's got a little bit of a green hue on it, a little bit of a green kind of vibe going on. And then down here has a little bit of a violet color going on in this blue down here. They're about the same value, but this is a little closer to red, this is a little closer to green. So because of that, for the blue up top, we are going to be using phthalo blue. Phthalocyanine blue is a very good blue. It's a very, very strong blue, so I'm barely going to need any of this, but it leans just a little bit more towards green. And then for the rest of the blue, we're going to be using ultramarine blue, which is one of the more traditional blues. This is one of the oldest blues that we've had. Traditionally, this was made out of lapis lazuli. So lapis lazuli, blue dye, is a reference to what we actually made blue dye out of, especially like ancient Egypt, Middle East, Western Asia. There's a lot of lapis, and that's where this blue started out. This is not made out of lapis. You can still get lapis pigmentation paint, but it's really expensive, so I just use this. I don't actually know what pigment ultramarine blue is nowadays. It is pigment blue 29, which is sodium alumina sulfosalicate. So that's what it is now. It's not lapis anymore. Steven Universe reference. I was so excited when I started painting because I was like, I know what lapis is. I know several references to lapis. I did hear about what happened with Ozzy. Yes, it is. It's sad, but also that's what happens to people. They die when they get old. What is your definition of what art is, and would you say Minecraft art? I do not know how to define art. That's something that I think about a lot. I don't know what my definition of art would be. I think about that all the time, though. It's a very, very difficult thing to define. I would say an intentional and skillful practice with the intent of expression. An intentional and skillful practice. And then there's a second half that I haven't quite gotten out. But the intent is part of it, and skillful practice being something that you can like improve on or practice, I think are important. Hey Adam, how's it going? Or Addixon. I should paint Steven Universe style. I would like to one day. And yes, and Minecraft is art. Yeah, there's definitely art in Minecraft, 100%. Not everything in Minecraft is art, just like not everything is art. But like all the like the bakers and stuff, and like when you're building, like you're making art, no doubt. This is a really, really thick pigment. It's hard to get out of the tube. The banana taped to a wall is absolutely art. 100%. It's stupid that people paid that much money for it, but it is art. Your name is Adam? Okay, good. And then IADXM. Okay, is a Minecraft name. Okay, I'm going to take a break from chat for just a sec so I can get some paint down. While I get the paint down, I will answer that question, though. If I think a product or building design can be art, it depends on intention, 100%. Functionality does not, does not necessitate artfulness, generally speaking. Where's my... Oh, I'm missing a paint. Hold on, let me grab it. And I'll answer that when I get back. Okay, I'm back. I forgot my white. Titanium white. This is also in a lot of food you eat. I think that a building and product design absolutely can be art. Oh my god. I don't know if I can get this open. I used my teeth. Don't do that. I might have to open up my other tube with this. This is my first ever palette knife, by the way. I've had this palette knife for... say 17 years, maybe? It's starting to crack. Used my bill. Hey, geese have teeth. They're scary teeth. Oh, your mom was friends with the artist of that famous messy bedroom piece? I forgot her name, but that's cool. I like conceptual art like that. There's a lot of people in the fine art world that really, really hate that. Specifically that piece. But I like that stuff. Okay, so we're starting out. We're going to be using blue. We're going to be using white. And then we are going to be mixing a tiny bit of, it looks like, tiny, tiny bits of Indian red. Oh, geez, I haven't opened these in so long. Okay, I need to get pliers because some of these are toxic. These are very small. These are not going to work. Hold on. Let me find a good pair of pliers. Okay, so in these clouds, it's just going to be a tiny, tiny bit of red. We're going to use Indian red, which is iron oxide, which is just rust. So this is, I mean, it's literally just rust and linseed oil. That's all this is, which is cool. It's also very heavy. And we're going to need barely any of that, just a tiny, tiny amount. This is also a very, very strong pigment. And that's something interesting with paints that you don't always know going into it. Hey, Weeping, how's it going? Different pigments do have different strengths. So, like, it's not based on amount. Like, you can put, like, a little bit of phthalo blue in this whole pile of white, and it will turn it blue. Whereas if I'm using, like, this is Terre Verte, which is a really nice green. This is a really, really weak pigment, and it would take more than equal amounts white to make this look green. All right, and here is yellow ochre, which is synthetic iron oxide. So this is a different level of rust also in linseed oil. And that's way too much. I'm not going to need that much at all. Luckily, this is a pretty cheap paint. And then we're going to need a tiny bit of gray. All right, we're breaking this guy out again. If you were part of the last painting stream, this is an atomizer. This is basically the analog version of a spray bottle, or of like an aerosol can. So it's 2 straws. You blow through this one while this one is in the fluid, and the low pressure created on top pulls the fluid up and then sprays it out in a really fine mist. We're going to spray a really, really fine layer of shellac on top of this so that we can still kind of see the lines as we paint. And here's our jar of shellac. I'm going to do it off camera because I don't want to get it on my desk. Yo, what up, Melissa? How's it going? Why does it need shellac? So you don't need shellac, but the reason I like to put shellac on it, and it's just a super, super fine layer, is just so that as we paint over this charcoal, it doesn't rub off, so that I can still kind of see the lines. Because the way that I'm going to be painting, I'm basically going to be painting all of the sky one color and then pulling out the different shapes from there. And if I didn't do the shellac, I would do that and it would just erase all of the painting. So it's like, or all the drawing. So like, why even do the drawing in the first place? But it'll cover, the paint will cover the drawing, no problem. So I just do, it's a really, really thin layer of shellac just to help hold the charcoal in place. In terms of like, if this was like a gallery painting I was doing and I wanted it to last a really long time, I would not use shellac. It'll still like last a lifetime, you know, but it's not going to last, you know, 100+ years because the shellac will eventually kind of get in the way of the paint, but it's not going to like ruin the painting at all. have any of my stuff. I need oil too. It is charcoal. Yeah, it's just charcoal. It's just vine charcoal. And this is, it is hardboard with canvas glued on top of it and then primed. Here's another one that I have that has less primer on it, so you can still kind of see the canvas underneath. But it is canvas adhered to board. So it's like a homemade canvas board. No, Autumn, don't worry about it at all. I love questions. I really like charcoal. Yeah, charcoal is really nice. It is not my favorite thing to draw with, but I do like it. Do I think Minecraft building translates well into art and painting? Do I think they're more separate skills? I think they translate very well into each other in terms of the principles of art, like color, form, composition. But it being 3D, it's a different level of art. You know, it's like it's something different because it's 3D versus 2D. But absolutely. I mean, that's like the premise of my entire channel, is finding ways to relate traditional art into Minecraft. Okay, so here's linseed oil. It's just flax oil. I'm just going to get a tiny bit of this on my palette, and we can use that to kind of thin the paint, make it flow a little bit better. Yeah, I think color is the most applicable thing between the two. Maybe. Okay, so I'm going to take just a tiny bit of paper towel now. I'm going to get some paint on it, or some oil on it, where it's just oil, no pigment. And I'm going to prime the canvas, or wet the canvas, with oil. And this is just going to help the paint blend a little better. It's going to help it spread a little easier. It just makes it a little easier. Makes it look a little nicer. Oh yeah, some people use their Minecraft stuff as like their reference for their drawings. I love that. Okay, we're gonna get a tiny bit of phthalo blue and a tiny bit of ultramarine blue. Just a really little amount, because it is very, very strong pigment. And we're going to mix just a little bit of titanium white in there. Not a lot, because we still want to keep it kind of dark. And we're going to spread this over the sky in a very, very thin layer, so it's still going to be largely transparent. Man, I love this palette knife, but it's not very good anymore. It's kind of warped. I guess I can use the other one. Any small tips for creating organics? Use references and get references that have different angles of the picture. Start by building it from just one angle, and then rotate to the other angle and sculpt it from that side, and then kind of refine it as you go. There's a huge difference between oil painting and watercolor depending on how you paint. There are some ways that you can paint with oil that are pretty similar. The only thing is that it takes, days or longer to dry instead of like a few minutes. Okay, I'm going to prime the brush with a tiny bit of oil. Now, if this was like a long-term painting and I was doing multiple layers, I wouldn't be using this much oil, because you don't want that much oil in the under painting if you're going to paint on top of it again. But because this is only going to be a one-layer painting, which is also called alla prima, which is like all at once, it doesn't matter how much oil we use for the most part. Yeah, and see how it goes on really, really smooth because we primed it with oil first. And we're just going to scrub this in so that we make sure we cover all the white. We don't have any little bits of white peeking through because I didn't sand it. So it's still like got the canvas texture on it. And now, so if I do this and move backwards, it'll stay thicker. But if I do this and move forward, it's harder on the brush, but it kind of pushes a wall of paint across and it lets me do a thinner layer if I move forward instead of backwards. I'll just go across and kind of even out some of the brushes, some of the brush strokes. So I'm not going to go too far down because, again, we have mostly the warm blue. Well, okay, technically this is cool blue. Cool blue leans towards green. Warm blue leans towards red. So we have the like phthalo blue up top, and then it's going to get closer to ultramarine blue near the bottom. So I'm going to grab a little bit of ultramarine blue. Hey, Lockjaw, we're painting. Excalibur Fusion, remember me? I remember your name. But unfortunately, that's all I remember. I apologize. Okay, so now that we have that, we're going to go through down here, and we're going to put in the ultramarine blue. See how different that color is? And we're just going to go right over the horse. Doesn't even matter. We'll get a really, really thin layer of this down here for this bottom cloud layer. So this is kind of where it is a little bit more like, might have too much oil, where this is a little bit more like watercolor, is when you can really work with the transparencies and layer stuff and get things going that way. So it's still very oily near the bottom. I did put a little bit too much oil on my brush, but that is okay because we're going to be going over that with an opaque blue. And with opaque pigments, we're going to be going over it with titanium white afterwards. Liza, I do remember that. I do remember you. I talked to you yesterday. You're setting up an Etsy store to sell MC skins? That doesn't ring a bell. What shader pack is this? LED light 2. Okay, so now that we have those colors in, because we have the blue down here and we have the other blue up here, in here, we still want a little bit of blue. It doesn't look like there's a lot of blue, but in these shadows, there's a lot of blue. So we're going to do another thin layer of blue in there. And this one is also going to be more towards ultramarine blue. But we are going to mix more titanium white into it. And we want to make sure that we overlap the lines because we don't want it to like be following the line. We want to completely cover the line. Because if you try to like avoid the line and do that, you end up with like an aura around things, and you don't want that. I mean, unless that's your intent. But if you're going for like realism, You don't want that aura around things. That's when you end up with, like, it's lighter around the edges than the rest of it because you're trying to avoid it. And I'm going to put a little bit more white in this whole secondary cloud area, just so we have a little bit of variation between this and the rest of it, and the phthalo blue up top. And still moving very, very, very rough. Natural Light 3 is superior, yes. Snarple Goose, I hope it's okay I do that same reference. Oh, yeah. Oh, hell yeah, dude. Do you want me to send it to you on... I'll send it to you on Discord so you can have a bigger version of it. That would be awesome. I'd love to see your painting of this. Where do I have it saved? There we go. There you go. Yeah, I sent it to you over there. Is any of it tacky? None of it's tacky because it'll be a while before it's tacky. Like a day or two before it, at least a couple days before it's tacky. Yeah, absolutely, Snurp. Etsy store is new. Thought it'd be fun to make skins. Yeah, skins are cool. I've been thinking about changing my skin lately, but I like it too much. I don't know, I like the nostalgia of it. I don't know if I'll ever change it. Just like my starting soon screen. Maybe I'll get a new starting soon screen one day. Okay, so now that we have the general color scheme of the sky correctly, can I make a vid about organics, specifically about organics? Yeah, I could probably do that. I mean, if you watch a lot of my, like, especially my coloring and Minecraft video, we talk a lot about organics in there, especially with Nighty. I also recommend go and check out Nighty's channel for organic stuff. Okay, so now that we have the basic color realm in, let's see if I can get it without the... See how there's just a little bit of difference between this blue and this blue. It's not much, but it's a little bit. It's more apparent in real life than over camera. Now we're going to start painting opaque over top of this. Let me see if I can get some of this glare out of here. There we go. That's a little better. What channel? Nighty? Nighty MC. If somebody can find Nighty's channel and post a URL in the chat for Adam, would be awesome. Yeah, Excalibur, sure. If you want to do it. I can't pay for it, but like if you want to just do it for fun, you are more than welcome to. Yeah, the glare was rough. It's still kind of... Maybe I can just turn off this light. Is that still okay for you guys, like light-wise? Shadow's a little harsher, but... Yeah, we'll just keep it like that. Okay, so now we're going... Actually, no, we're not going to keep it like that because it's hard for me to see my colors. There we go. We can do that. Hey, Paulin, how's it going? So now we're going to be mixing this color. So this is this color, but transparent. Now we're going to mix this color, but opaque, which is not the same as mixing it transparent. So this is how we have it now, and it's pretty close, but it's a little too dark. So I'm going to add just a tiny bit more titanium white. Just a little bit, not too much. And the benefit of using titanium white is it's one of the most opaque pigments that you can use. So it lightens things. It also desaturates them. It also cools them, and it makes it more opaque. So that's something you have to keep in mind when you're working with pigments versus light, like digital stuff, is that every pigment is going to have different effects like that. Yes, thank you very much, buddy. That is correct. So it can't just be like I'm adding white to make it lighter. Like there's different whites that you can use. Titanium white, it cools it, it makes it more opaque, and it desaturates it. If you use lead white doesn't really affect the temperature too much. It is a lot more transparent. So it also doesn't lighten it as much, and it desaturates it a little bit, but it also makes it dry harder, makes it dry faster. It has lower oil content than that. So it's a lot of different stuff that you have to keep in mind. Okay, so that's pretty close. It's just about the same color, but we're putting it on opaquely instead of transparently. And again, we're going to overlap a little bit. So the goal is that it doesn't look like it changes colors, but it does cover what's underneath it. So the other one let the lines show through. This paint layer will not let the lines show through. Ideally. If it does, I'll just have to make it a little more opaque. Okay, so we have that layer. We're going down over this layer a little bit, and then we're good. So that's what we need for that layer. Now for the next little bit, I'm going to wipe a little bit of the paint off of this paintbrush. It's Goose Ross time. Okay, so we wiped off most of the paint off of that. And now we're going to use just white with like a tiny, tiny touch of black in there, just to darken it and desaturate it just a little bit, bring it a little bit more towards gray. Or not desaturate it, because it is white, it's not saturated. But we just want it a little bit closer towards gray. One of the tricks with oil painting, because when you're working with light, you have like... When you're looking at light, like this is the darkest thing that you can see. When you're looking at light, like let's say like on a graph, like this is as dark as you can see, and this is the lightest thing you can see, like in a cave and looking straight at the sun. Like that's the range that you have with your actual eyes. But when you're painting, the darkest that you can paint is like only around here. Like you can't paint actual shadow. You can make it pretty close, like you can layer stuff and make it look pretty dark, but you can't paint actual shadow. Even with like Vanta Black and like Black 3.0, you can get close but not quite. The tricky thing is that the lightest thing that you can paint is only like right here. No matter how white the paint is that you're using, it will never be as bright as an actual light. So like this is the visual range of darkness to lightness, and this is how small the range with painting is from dark to light. So you have to play with things. You have to have higher contrast. So the reason that we mix some gray in that is because the last paint that I want to put on this canvas is my pure white. I want to make it look as close to the picture as I can while using a squished value structure. So if I can put gray on and it looks like white, then I'm in a good spot, because later I can put actual pure white on top of it and it'll be even brighter. So you have to like keep that in mind when you're painting. You have to work with a less dynamic value structure. So we're gonna make this a little bit darker. And you also have to keep in mind, because it's oil paint, the paint underneath it is still wet. So it's gonna mix with the paint underneath it. And that's going to darken it a little bit, and that's going to make it look a little bit more blue. Now, we don't want it to do that too much. So what we're going to do, which like what we were talking about with the Ghibli guy doing background stuff, is we're actually going to go through and we're just going to remove a little bit of the paint. It doesn't look like we're removing much, but we're just getting the excess off so that it doesn't blend as much with the next layer. Just a tiny bit, but it did get some paint off. Now, with these clouds are pretty wispy. I think we can actually go in with the same brush. Just finished crashing out over shader settings. Hell yeah. Oh, you're gonna paint? You got a headache? That sucks. You and your migraines, dog. That is brutal. Okay, so see how that mixes with the layer underneath it quite a bit? That is okay because we're putting, again, a thin layer now, and then we'll go over it again with a thicker layer, and it will take care of all of that. And again, we're overlapping so that we don't have that kind of aura around the clouds. So there's a short bit of time where I worked as at one of those like wine and paint places where you teach people how to paint while they drink wine and stuff. And it was fun, but it's hard. It's hard to talk while you paint, and it's even harder to make sure you're not covering the canvas while you paint. So I'm tapping into those skills, because if I was just doing this by myself, I'd be like right here while I was painting. Gotta do it differently. Okay, so when I look at the reference from here, I want this to be even darker. So I'm actually going to go straight into the black and then grab a little bit of this. And we're just going to mix with the brush. And the areas that look especially darker are like down here, which that's very dark, but that's okay. We're going to lighten it up in the second layer. And over here is pretty dark as well, which this is good because if we really want this edge of the cloud to be crisp and light, because like this right here is the lightest part of the painting, like that. Yeah, right here is probably the lightest part of the painting. To make that look even lighter, we're going to put it in reference to something darker, which is right behind it. So if we make the area behind it extra dark, then that part will look extra light. So we're just going to do that all the way around and frame these clouds in a darker gray. Fan it out a little bit. And this is good now that we're covering the lines. Like, you know, you can see that the lines are starting to disappear. And then we're going to go straight back into this lighter color. And we'll kind of touch up some of the lighter areas. So like right up around here, we have this kind of like hoop shape that goes into this triangle. And Prismy, if you do want to do another art book one, let's do it right after we finish this back layer of clouds. Would be perfect. Now I'll do right here, and we need to bring this up into the sky above it. But remember, this is more opaque paint, so it's going to mix more. So we're going to do the bottom part first so that we don't end up bringing any of this paint down into the rest of it. Now, if we look right at... Oh, I just realized you guys can't see my mouse when I do this. Oh, no, I've been like pointing with... I've been pointing with my mouse this whole time. Okay, so if you look right above the lightest part of the cloud, the lighter, like the big white chunk, I guess I can just show you in reference to this. This area right here that's going to be really light, we have this little bit of blue right here. And we have that in the reference too. And I want to accentuate that, so we're going to take advantage of the fact that I have to bring this cloud up into the blue. So we have white now, we're going to go up into the blue a little bit. We're going to fan it out a tiny bit, and then we're not going to touch anything else. And now we have a little bit of extra blue on our brush, and we can bring that down in here. And then kind of even this out with a little bit more white. So it's a lot of like when you're working alla prima where everything is wet the whole time, like you're not painting on top of another dry layer. You have to kind of think about like where you put your brush when you put your brush. How is that possible? It's just it's practice. You just got to practice and you learn how the medium works, you know, like how the paint moves. The best advice I can give you is get some paints and play with them. Experiment and just like mess around. Just have fun. This isn't even the best part. Wait till we come in with the mop brush. I'll make this a little smaller so you can see the little painting. Okay, then we can lighten up on this left side too as well. Not as much though. It's not as light over here, so I'm going to actually pull it down and bring some of that darker gray up with it. I also apologize if this shakes the camera while I'm doing this, but the camera is mounted to my desk as well. Okay, and then we can kind of feather out these edges up here as well. Okay, now we have the best part. This is my favorite. Oh, I just painted my desk. Whoops. You use crayon and washable markers in medium now because of your kid. Hell yeah. I like that. Oh no, wait. Okay, no, it's good. Never mind. I forgot I had acrylic paint on one of my brushes still, but I wrapped it in plastic. Firewolf, what paints do I use? I like to use Rublev. Rublev is my favorite brand. Second favorite brand, oh, that's Rublev still. Second favorite brand is Michael Harding. These are the two best ones, I think. Prisme, all right, it is art book time, but before we do that, I'm going to do my favorite part of doing clouds, which is, let me see if I have a smaller mop brush. I guess we'll just use the big one. We'll be using it for the other ones too. So this is a mop brush. This is, sorry, I just straight up just burped into the mic. So this is a mop brush. It is for watercolor. This is not for oil paint. So if you use a mop brush, you have to keep in mind that there's different glue holding the bristles in place. Oil paints have a very solvent-resistant glue because you use solvent with oil paint, so the brushes have a solvent-resistant glue. Watercolor brushes do not have a solvent-resistant glue because it's just with water. So these are my favorite brush to use with oil painting for clouds because it's just a mop. It's just a really fine, puffy thing. But you have to be careful when you wash it. And you have to be careful just with like how you work with it. You can't use solvents in this. So this is my favorite part about doing clouds though, is we have that step, but we have all those ugly brush marks in there. So we can take a mop brush and we'll start in the light area. And we're just gonna kind of like a little puff ball on top of it. And it's going to smooth all of those out really, really well. And there's a little bit too much blue paint on it still, so we're going to wipe it off. And this is the best way to get rid of brush strokes. And we'll make them look like they're kind of being swept away in the wind a little bit. And there you go. That's my favorite way. Oh, I just knocked over my hard drive. Hold on. Then we'll grab an art book. Painting trees is a nightmare. I like painting trees, but it depends on how you paint them. They can be tough. Hey Gotham, how's it going? Sorry, I can just call you Batman, I guess. Art book. Do you guys want photography or super weird paintings? Super weird photography or super weird paintings? Photography? All right. Okay, so there is a lot of nudity in this one, so I'm going to have to like do select photos. This is Tim Walker. Tim Walker, Beautiful, Wonderful Things is the name of this book. I had no idea who Tim Walker was, and I went to the Getty in California, the art museum, and they happened to have an exhibit on him, and he's amazing. He's so good. Sorry, Lockett, too late. He's absolutely amazing. If you saw Poor Things, he was like an assistant of his with a very similar style, was one of the set designers and like artistic designers for that movie. So they're very weird, surrealist photography. Let me find a few pages I can flip through that don't have any. Okay, to try really hard not to get paint on these. And I'll move that other one out of the way too. I really love his photography though. He really likes to play with like set design and props and perspective, and gets these very like painterly looking compositions in photography, which is something I hadn't seen before. And there's some other sets in here too. I really like this one. This is one of my favorite ones in the book. So in that set, he's doing a lot with like value and stuff like that. But he does a lot of other stuff with like weird props. And a lot of like weird color stuff. I really like this one as well. I think it's really interesting because those are like prop stuff. Like that is a face printed on different sheets of plastic, and then she's wearing that on top. And then he does a ton of really cool work with color. Let me find some of the really good ones. Yes, this whole set is really cool. Really like how he's playing with blur and playing with color in a lot of these. A lot of it's under black lights. These are two of my favorite ones in the book also. I really like these. I hope this isn't doing it justice. A glared photo of a picture in a book on stream is not a great way to appreciate these, but still very cool. I think what really got me with him is it was the inclusion of props. It's how much prop use is in it, and how much set use is in it, and how it's not just this like, it's not just like photographs, you know. Let's find some. He does a lot of like celebrity portraits as well. Yeah, like he did a whole set with Tilda Swinton that are really cool. You finished your goose skin? Oh, hell yeah, thanks. Send it to me on Discord. I'll check it out. Just a very interesting photographer. I really recommend checking him out. His name is Tim Walker. Here's some other really cool ones. Let's see if I can get that without the glare. Yeah, highly recommend. This book specifically is a really, really good book. Okay, back to painting. Now, I want those clouds to be a little wispier looking at them, so I'm going to get my tiny brush. We're going to put a little bit more form in them. Uh-oh, another cool art book. All right. Weird painting one. I guess we'll do that one because that's the one that's right next to me. Okay, if you watched the video, if you watched my video with Shovel that I just put out, we actually talked, well, I mentioned this painter very briefly. Off camera, we talked about him quite a bit. This is Christian Van Minnen. I'm going to also have to just select certain ones out of this one too. Okay, this is Christian Van Minnen. The book is Massa Confusa. Very, very good art book, and a very, very interesting painter. Snarple, this guy reminded me of some of the ones that you showed me of. I forgot his name already. George Connor. Oh, I feel so bad I forgot the name. But these are very like weird, trippy, really, really well rendered paintings. Let me see if I can find some like close-ups. He does a lot of like fake still lifes of flowers with these weird jelly blobs. And these are all oil paintings, and they're pretty big usually. Especially things like that. I really, really like the texture he does on like the jelly stuff. How many art books do I have? Oh, I don't know, like 30 something. Yeah, this stuff, it's a very consistent theme with him, is doing like masses of flesh with tattoos and then these weird like colorful jelly things on top of them. Yeah, some of his portraits too, like this, where they're not really faces, but then all of the skin is tattooed, which I think is really, really interesting. Especially when you like really get into his art and really get into some of his philosophy behind art. It gets very, very interesting about like why he does the tattoos over faces and like what the tattoos mean, stuff like that. He does a lot of watercolor too, a lot of little watercolor portraits. These are tiny too. These are actual size, actually. This is actually the size that they are. See if I can find any other interesting ones. This whole series was very interesting. I saw some of these in person. These are big too. These are like, you know, like 2 by 3 feet-ish. And I like that they're like gross. They're just like very unsettling. He is a very, very, very skillful painter, but just also he's just like philosophically just a very, very interesting painter. If you know anything about Jungian psychology, a lot of his stuff is kind of based around Jungian psychology. I really like this one. I saw this one in person too. So 10 out of 10. Really recommend checking them out. I'm just going to cover part of the screen because I really like the detail on that, but I can't show you the entire thing. Thanks, Excalibur. I'll check it out after stream. Appreciate that. All right, we'll do one more. Let's find a real good one. He does a lot of monotypes too, which are like prints. Like you put ink on a piece of glass and then you wipe off what you don't. So it's like reverse painting. So these are painted on, the entire piece of glass is covered with black ink, and then he just erases what he wants to be white, and then he prints that on a piece of paper. And then he does some with color as well. Very, very cool, though. Really recommend checking out Christian Rex Van Minnen. Amazing painter. Very, very interesting guy. And we're actually I'm going to run a 1-minute ad, just so you guys don't get stuck in a 3-minute ad. And while that ad is running, Excalibur, I'm going to go check out that skin. So some of you guys might still be here. Some of you guys might be in an ad right now. Who knows? Oh, I like this. I do want the goose on front, but I like the long sleeve is nice. Here, I'll show you guys. I know. I can't believe so many of you guys have just never gotten ads. Yeah, I like this. This is the one from Excalibur. Maybe in winter I'll do a long sleeve. He has the goose is still on the back of the shirt. I would still like it on the front because it's my logo, but I do like this. Okay, most of you guys are probably back. Let's get back to painting. I think this playlist is looped. Let's do spooky melodies. Okay, I'm going to lock in if I want to get this done before stream is over. So what I'm doing now is I'm just reapplying some of the paint in some of the areas that I want the cloud to look a little more solid. Oh, I also realized I was looking at that skin while the ad was playing. Excalibur, I don't know if you got stuck in an ad, but we did look at your skin, and I like it. I like the long sleeve. I still want the goose on front, but the long sleeve was nice. I'm not feeling the spooky playlist. Let's do Spring Blossom Beats. So I'm taking a closer look at this, and if there's anywhere where I kind of see the charcoal peeking through just a tiny bit, I'm just dabbing a little bit more paint on top of it so it stays hidden. Hey, thank you very much, Moro. It's funny looking up and seeing it on camera because one, it's smaller, but it also like really compresses some of the values. And so it just looks different when I look up on the screen than it does down here, which is okay because it will be given to someone in person. As long as it looks good to me, that'll be a-okay. But now we're moving on to the big clouds. Big clouds. Did I peep that playlist that I sent? The August playlist? If you're talking about the August playlist, I listened to the whole thing like right when you sent it. It was great. Yeah. I loved it. If you need Lo-Fi Songs album, I could send you one. Is it one you made? Because I can't do anything that has any chance of copyright. Okay, so we're moving into the big clouds. Now I'm just going to re-block these in with a white, just so I can kind of see the sides of the edges of the clouds again. And we're going to kind of redraw them in. So the main one that we need to focus on, so we have that peak there and then go up to here. So this one starts up right about here. Oh, yeah, copyright. Yeah, when you have song requests, yeah. Or when we have song requests. Okay, so now we have like the general idea of where the clouds are, but I am going to be more loose with like how we actually paint them. I'm just going to kind of paint them as they fall in. I'm not going to worry too much about following the reference. But there's some stuff like this cloud. I want this cloud to be bigger, so this line will probably be moved down to like right there, just so we have more room to do this full cloud. We're just filling this whole thing in just with lighter paint, just so we know where it's at, so we don't lose it. Happens more often than you think. Man, especially when you're working on big paintings, you'll kind of be working on something and you'll work over something else. You don't really realize it till you like take a step back and you're like, where's that drawing? It's gone. Now, looking at this, I actually want to lighten up this gray a tiny bit, or at least blend it a little bit more. Hey, what up, sheep? How's it going? Hey, what up, Iron? Iron Thorn. So, I don't know if you guys... no, actually, I'm looking up at the thing. You can't really tell. So, in person, this gray, it looks so... it looks so different in the video than it does in person. This gray looks a little bit green. And that is because bone black, which is made from charred bones, is a little bit yellow. It's a little bit orangish yellow. So when you mix it with blue, you actually kind of get a green. Like a really, really muddy green. Okay, so this cloud is going to have a touch of yellow in it. We're going to be using a different brush. We're going to be using... I'm going to save that brush. We're going to keep using this brush to get the general idea of the cloud in. And we're going to be taking a pretty good chunk of the titanium white. I'm actually going to clean off part of this. Where's my scraper? I don't know where it is. So we're going to get a pretty good chunk of white in there, and then we're going to put just like the tiniest amount of yellow. Like, I don't know if you guys can even see that because it's blurry. I don't know why it's blurry. Tiny, tiny bit of yellow in there. Do a little bit more. We don't really want it to look yellow, but we want enough yellow that when we put pure white next to it, the pure white looks different, if that makes sense. So we don't want it to look yellow, we just want it to not quite look white. Hey, what up, Hibby? It's going pretty good. Just working on some paintings. Getting distracted a lot, you know how it goes. Yeah, so off-white. Yeah, we want it off-white, is what normal people say. The spuddiest chap. It's actually driving me crazy that this won't focus. Does it look okay to you guys, or does it look blurry? Because like when I look on my phone and see what it's filming, it looks really blurry. And we're not going to worry about the different layers of the cloud yet. Spuddy, that's okay. I'm glad you like my voice. Yellow clouds, like when it's like peach and yellow, like right before sunset, where the clouds are like kind of like a peachy yellow gray with the blue, is my favorite. I love it. It's a little blurry. I guess I can just zoom out. I think I actually want this. No, okay, the top part's not going to have as much yellow, but as we move further down in the cloud, we're going to add a little bit more yellow. Dude, I'm so excited you guys are painting while I paint. Send me your paintings on Discord. I want to see them for sure. Also, unfortunately, I agreed to cover a shift this evening, so I'm realizing that I don't know if we're going to finish this painting. So we're going in for just a little bit more yellow. So the goal here is to get a pretty even layer of really opaque white over this, but not so thick that we can't add some color on top of it, because we are going to need to go through and like accentuate like where the dark spots are, where the light spots are. I'm going to see if I get really close, if it will like try to focus, and then I can zoom out partially. That's still kind of blurry. That's not too bad, though. Hey, well, thanks for coming and saying hi. Tell your kids to calm down. Tell your kids to chill out. Tell them Goose says calm down. No, it just got blurry again. All right. I love that too, Joel. Yep. Goose says calm down is kind of not us. I don't know. It might work though. They might be like, what? What? Who's the goose? And if they look at you strange after you say it, just say, or else. Turn me into a weird cryptid to keep your kids in line. Actually, yes, please do that. Any of you guys with kids? I would love to be a weird cryptid. So see, now that we're looking at this, the horse is just, it's not right. Which is okay, because we'll be able to cover the whole thing up. You bet. I just saved your whole day. Anyone else make photos you think would be cool to paint and completely forget about it and end up never painting it? That's like half of my photos on my phone. Maybe you just gotta practice. Hey, what up, Josh? How's it going? Things are going great. Yeah, looking at the clock, I'm almost certainly going to have to finish this off stream, but that's okay. We still have some time. Goosey, you saw the horrors my hands are capable of. You wouldn't encourage practice. Practice. Do it. Practice more. Where will you post it when I'm done? On my Instagram. I probably maybe post it as the YouTube community tab too. I'm drinking out of my my great grandma mug today too. I think I was doing that last time I was on painting stream. My Nana mug. It's my great grandma. We had these made when she turned 100. Okay, so now that we have the dark parts put in, we're going to go in with pure white. Make a build video once every year showing your favorite builds from that year. Like of my builds or of other people's builds. Oh, sorry for that sound. Of my builds? I could do that. I don't build a ton. But I could do that at the end of the year. So you can kind of see a little better now that we're getting some of the light on, that I'm not exactly following the cloud. I'm just doing kind of close to it. Like, yeah, I know there's light here. I know there's light over here. So I like get it generally in that area, which I feel like I do better with when I'm doing clouds. Because if I try to follow the reference too exactly, they end up looking kind of rigid, which clouds are not rigid at all. It's been a long time since I painted clouds too. Actually, the last time I painted clouds was the last painting stream we did. Actually, that was the last time I painted. Hey, thank you much, Sheep. Hope you have a lovely day. Thanks for coming and hanging out. I would love to do a Pond server tour. Yes, absolutely. Like, really take some time and go through everyone's places in the SMP. Okay, that's looking okay. I do think it looks so much different on camera. You guys will see. I'll post like a color corrected version after I finish it, and you guys can see how different it looks. Almost always late for streams. Been here for a good chunk of this one. Not late to this one. Okay, now we're going to move into the second layer of clouds. Now this chunk that's going to go here right behind the horse, I'm going to have to move up a little bit. I'm going to have to move the horse down a tiny bit. And that one is going to be what has a little bit of red in it. So I'm actually going to do this one over here first, because that one does have more yellow. So let me just see where this one's going to go. Yeah, something like that, and then we'll have the blue part come up over top of it. Looks really cool. Thank you. Yeah, it's coming along okay. Do I know Alpine? Yeah, I know Alpine. Actually, I did an interview with Alpine. Yeah, that was the second part of the architecture in Minecraft series. Okay, so now we're going to move into... Oh, wait, is that dry? That is dry. We're going to move into Indian Red, which is rust. Straight up. It's just rust and linseed oil. This is a very, very strong pigment. So I am not going to need a lot of it. Well, you guys can't really see that very well. So we're going to put just a tiny, tiny touch of it over in the corner. I wonder why it's having a hard time focusing. I just don't understand. And then we're going to mix some of this red that we've been using in with that. See how strong that is, though? Like that big chunk, and it still turns out, well, hard to see on camera. It still turns out very red. Which, color-wise, is actually looking okay. Let's see how this looks. It might be way too red. It might be just right. Might not be red enough. So we're actually going to paint right over the horse. The difference in streams I'm watching. Who's the other stream you're watching? Yes, okay, so what I've decided what we're going to do. Jumper who? I don't know that. Oh, are you watching a speedrun tournament and this? Hell yeah. So what I think I'm going to do is I think I'm going to mostly paint over the horse because now that I like have the clouds kind of in, the drawing is way off. And then once that dries, I can go back over and repaint the horse in. So we'll get like a rough idea of where things are going to go in some of the ground, and then the horse will go in last. Now, this color that's in this cloud is kind of a weird one. It's more gray than anything. So I think we're going to actually mix a new color for that. Does have a tiny bit of yellow in it, though. Not quite it, though. It does need a little bit of red, too. That might be it. Let's try that out. Hey, congratulations. Tell them Goose says congrats. What game are they speedrunning? No, I'm using oil paints for this. Excuse me. Hey, welcome in, Mello. How's it going? We're just working on a little painting. How long have we been doing this? We've been streaming for 2.5 hours, probably painting for about 2. And I'm getting pretty happy with it. It's looking better and better. That's how it always goes. You just got to keep pushing through it. Also, it'd be really cool if you were able to make some videos on painting. I would like to. I would really like to. Yeah, I would really like to. I think it needs more yellow in some parts. I agree. It does look very different on screen than it does to me. So there's a couple areas where it needs to lighten up a little bit. But I think a lot of that will have to be done like on a second layer highlight pass. It does look like could maybe use a little more yellow over here. I really wish the camera was accurate, but that is that's when, if you ever hear that you shouldn't learn how to draw and paint from image, you should learn how to do it from life. That is one of the reasons why. You see way more color and way more light than cameras can represent. Doesn't mean you can't. It just means if you're trying to mimic life directly, you should learn to paint from life instead of from photo. Wheeler, gotta go. I'll be sure to send you some of the sculpting stuff I've done. Yes, please do that. Actually, I would love to see that. I've always really been interested in stone sculpting. What's my opinion on modern art? I love it. I love it. There's not really any art that I don't love. But I really like, so in like the literal technical sense of modern art is art from like the 80s and 90s. Even earlier than that, honestly, like the 60s to 80s. And I really, really like all of that. That is where actually a lot of like my heart is in, like what really got me into art was like abstract expressionism, especially. Yeah, I really like it. The art that I don't like as much is contemporary performance art, which is like current performance art. There's some of it that I really, really like, and there's some of it that I really, really do not like. But the problem with performance art and most conceptual art in general is that you have to know the context. Like you have to know why they're doing what they're doing. Yeah. So, but overall, I really like modern art. Some of my favorite artists are modern artists. Most of my favorite artists are contemporary, which is like, modern is a hard term because modern art is literally like a period of art in like the middle of the 1900s, like the middle end of the 1900s. Contemporary art is like right now art, like art that is happening in this current day. Gonna need to be really kind about this. Oh, are you done? Let me see it. Send it. Get it to me, Snarple, faster. Of course I'm gonna be kind about it. Can you imagine me being mean about someone's painting? Waiting for it. I haven't gotten it yet. Still waiting. Yeah, that's right. I would never be mean about someone's painting. That's not true. There's some cases where maybe I would, depending on like the messaging of the painting, but not really. Sorry, this cable is always in the way. You're actually just gonna have to deal with it. Disgusting. No, this is great, dude. Good clouds. Is it on paper? It is on paper. I can see your marks come off. Is it acrylic? I think it is acrylic as well because of how it's layered. Do you care if I show stream? Oh, you're painting one of Snarple's builds? That's cool. I have to get Snarple's okay to show you. Not everybody wants their art on stream. Okay. Yeah, it looks like gouache. Gouache. I don't know how it's pronounced. I say gouache. Okay. Bada bing. Here we go. Look at that. I really like it. Yeah, you need more brushes. But you know what? It still looks like a horse. So my favorite thing about this is the layering you have on the clouds. It reminds me of, like, I actually really like the layering you have on the clouds. I really like your color too. You got the yellow in there really nice. Yeah, this is really solid, dude. It reminds me a lot of like fresco paintings too, and like tempera paintings and some like earlier acrylic paintings where it is layered on really roughly to get that effect. So what that's called is, it was acrylic gouache, which is like, it's kind of like a dry acrylic. So when you're painting, I can keep showing you on this. So, oh, you guys can't see my mouse. Oh, weird. Okay. Anyway, when you're painting transparently and you put a transparent color over another transparent color, or over a color, like if you're putting a layer of stained glass over something, that's called a glaze. Glaze is a transparent layer over top of it. If you put an opaque layer kind of like scattered about like this, so you still get some of the color underneath, that is called a scumble. So glaze is transparent, scumble is opaque. So this would be a scumble over top the blue. And this would be scumbled over top the yellow. And I really like that about this. One of my favorite things about like dry paint scumbling and like dry brushing like this is that when you get enough layers and you get the structure right, it's kind of hard to tell what layer is behind the other layer. Like you don't know which one's in front, which one's in back. And that's what I really like about this. Especially my favorite part of this painting is, you guys can't see it. Right above the horse, that upper corner right above the horse is my favorite part of this. Hey, Chi, thank you for the follow. Welcome in. We're talking about art. Yeah, Snarple, you may not be happy with your horse drawing, which is totally fine. Fantastic color work. Really good color work, really good light work. Very good. Very good, kind sir. Okay, now I have to take a sec to look at mine, because now we're moving into that lower blue. That's a pretty strong blue. It's about the right value, but we need to lower the saturation. So I'm actually just going to take all of this color and mix it in with it. Let's see how this looks in there. Okay, it's a little dark still. There we go. That's pretty close. Let's try that out. We can always darken it up a little bit. Hey, what up, Joey? How's it going? Weeping, it's taking you too long to color this line. You got so much done like last night, though. Weeping, give yourself more than a day to do one of these, dog. Force yourself to take a week. Take some breaks. Take some sleep. Take some sleep breaks, Weeping. No, it is a very, very involved one. But what you showed me last night was looking really, really good. Yeah, I know. Sleep, it's Weeping. It's the word that rhymes with your name. And you need it. You need more of it. All right, let's see how this looks. This might be too light. Let's see. What do we think? No, it's pretty close. And then we'll just have to go in it with that kind of reddish color. There's so much dog hair in this. So the dog that I have, the big dog, she's a Pyrenees mix. Oh wait, you sent me a slightly better photo for color. See it later though. Gonna do some secret stuff. Okay, all right, go do some secret stuff. Joel, why is my message taking so long to go through? I don't know. Try sending it again. Snarple's a fool if he thinks we're not going to look at the new one on stream. Still looks very good. Very good indeed. I really want to know what the secret stuff is. It might have been a nod to me about the secret stuff that I do know what it is, but I don't know. And the horse is gone. Don't even got to worry about him anymore. Okay, so I think we need to go a little bit deeper blue in some of those areas. Messages through YouTube take about 10 seconds. Yeah, I don't know why they're so much slower. G42 is the goat for following? They're the goat for following. Should I know who they are? Did I get followed by like a real popular person? I didn't realize it. Okay, bye, Snarple. Tell me about secret stuff later. Stuart. Sorry, not Stuart. Or not Snarple, Stuart. Snewart is also good. Farewell, horse. We'll put the horse in later. Weeping? I don't know, maybe. I would love to play some rounds after this if I have time before work, though. Okay, so we're going to go through and I'm going to put a little bit dark, or like a little bit more saturated blue in just some areas, like right around. Gotta get this hair out of there. I know you guys can't see it, but there's dog hair all over this. So yeah, so fun thing. So I have a dog. She's a Pyrenees mix. She's a very big dog. You guys are gonna learn about my dog today. She was a breeding dog, and then after she was done being a breeding dog, she was purchased by the animal sanctuary that my wife works at, to be used as a livestock guardian dog, because that's what they do. Hey, what up, Debogged? How's it going? And so they got her to be a livestock guardian dog because one of their other livestock guardian dogs passed away. And she did not care about the livestock at all. She would already been too socialized. She did not want to protect the livestock at all. She just wanted to hang out with the people. She's also sneaky and gets into stuff, and she got into a whole bucket of camel medication, and ate, I don't know if anybody knows anything about like vet tech medicine stuff. She ate like 20 pills of meloxicam. Might even been more of that. It was enough meloxicam for a camel, which is like crazy, like a crazy amount, because they put them in Fig Newtons for the camels, and somebody forgot it on the back of a trailer, and she got into it. Anyway, this painting is for my wife's manager, who is very familiar with. Anyway, that's why we took the dog. That's the point of the story. That's why we have that dog now, is we adopted her because she just wasn't doing her job. This painting is for the manager of that animal sanctuary, and I think it's very funny that it's going to have a bunch of my dog's hairs in it, and she'll think that's kind of cute because she likes that dog a lot, and she's going to have little pieces of that dog in this painting. I love livestock guardian dogs. LGDs, as they're called in the biz. Do you have a really good mic? Because it sounds great. I don't. I can show you what mic I have. This is a Samson Q2. It is a cheap competitor to the Shure SM58. It was about $100 for the mic and the mic stand and the pop filter. And if people are looking for a good dynamic mic, this is the one that I recommend, because it's pretty good and it's not very expensive and it's been very durable. Your dog ate an entire bag of hot dog buns, and the next week ate 7 hot dogs. It's a lot of hot dogs. Oh, yeah. Also, the dog was fine, obviously. The owner of the animal sanctuary is very, very wealthy, and so paid for that dog to go have dialysis for 2 days, which is like $30,000 to have a dog have dialysis. And that's why she's still alive, and she's doing great. Yeah, it is a Samson Q2. And it was, you can usually find it for sale for like $80 on Amazon. And then it's like $90 if you get it with a mic stand. Samson Q2. Camera setup is just my iPhone. It's like an iPhone 14. Kelly May, what up? How's it going? And Jack, how's it going, guys? It's me, the lorcest of horses. We had a lab eat a full batch of chocolate chip cookies, set them in the car to bake. Oh, to take, not to bake in the car. Yeah, sometimes they're totally fine. $69 at Best Buy. Nice. Yeah, grab it. It's a great mic. Yeah, my dog definitely has cat energy. She's basically a rug. And she's very lazy, but as soon as you leave the room, she gets real sneaky with trying to eat that food. Which is extra great because she's allergic to everything. So she's always itchy because she always sneaks food. We have a gate and a chair in front of our kitchen because she jumps over the gate and pulls like bags of rice and bags of flour and bags of sugar out of the pantry and takes them into the living room and opens them up and spreads it all over the floor and then leaves it alone. She doesn't even eat it. She eats a little bit of it, but she just like opens the bag and is like, oh, this isn't dog food. And then puts it, just like stops eating it. Sometimes she does eat a lot of it though. She did get into, we had a bunch of packs of like dried seaweed. She ate like 5 of those. Jump into the sink to clean the silverware. See, that's kind of fun though, as long as it's not a knife. She is a very, very cute menace. She's the best dog ever. I love her so much. Das ist so schön? I don't know what schön means. What does that mean? Beautiful. Thank you. Sorry, I would say thank you in German, but I forgot how to say thank you in German. Mate? Is that thank you or is that please? Joel, you remember the Kraftwerks SMP? I was last season. Danke. Oh, yeah, Danke. I knew that. Sorry, yeah, it's Danke. I'm actually ashamed that because I definitely knew that. And bitte is please. Mate is later in Japanese. Matane. See you later. I am no longer a member of the Kraftwerks SMP. I decided to step down from it for this season because I had a lot of other stuff on my plate and I didn't want to let them down and be like in and out and just not oh, bitte is you're welcome. Okay, well, don't listen to my German. I don't know German. Don't listen to my German advice. I know a little bit of Japanese. What was I saying? Oh yeah, but I decided to step down from Kraftwerks for this season just because I didn't realistically feel like I had the time to commit to it and like make a good season. I didn't even finish last season. I felt really bad about that. I didn't do my last episode. So yeah, so I decided to step down from it. I might pop in there every once in a while though. If you watch it, you might see me here and there. I might come and say hey to everybody. I still talk to all of them. Like it wasn't like a bad like exit or anything. Captain, have you never seen me live? I don't know. I'm live like 3 days a week. Welcome in. How's it going? My day's going fantastic. We're painting. Hey, welcome back, Iron. How long do I expect this to dry? I'll give it at least a week to dry. It'll probably be mostly dry to the touch in a couple days. Well, I don't know. There's a lot of titanium white. Titanium white takes a very, very long time to dry. So yeah. Bottom of the cloud, it is to me. It doesn't look like it to you guys, but the colors are more vibrant on my end. Who's my favorite member of season 2? It was me. I was my favorite member of season 2. I don't have a favorite member. I mean, I was friends with all of them. You've been wanting to say this to you for such a long time. Thank you. You've been wanting to ask me how my day was. Since when has YouTube had XP? I don't know. No, who's my favorite member? I mean, I've been really close with Feather for like a long time, so I was biased against Feather. Or not biased against, just because I was like really good friends with him, but he never put out videos. I think I really liked K-Hug's videos. I really liked all the stuff K-Hug was doing. Zinc was underrated. I mean, they were really all underrated. They all had some really, really cool videos, really, really good vids. Hey, what up? It's Feather. I summoned him. Yeah, I didn't have a favorite member, though. Wait, 2 feathers. Oh, 1 on YouTube. Been here the entire time? You've been here the whole time and you never said anything? Yeah, Feather always lurks. Half the time I don't know if he's here because he hops in chat and he's like, hey, I'm driving by, and then he leaves. And I'm like, okay, well, are you sticking around? Never said anything. You think I would miss 3 hours of painting? I do think you'd miss 3 hours of painting. It's the middle of the day. Thought you might be working. Captain, reason I'm saying thank you is because I've been following you for a long time and learned a lot, and because of that, I'm about to hit 3K views. You're about to hit 3,000 views with 340,000 views. 3,000 subs with 340,000 views. Oh, 3K subs. Hell yeah, dude. That's awesome. Post your chat. Post a link to your, or not a chat. Post a link to your channel in chat. I'll check it out. That's not the right color at all. You unfortunately don't work today? I unfortunately do work today. I need the money, but I'm also like, man, I didn't want to pick up an extra shift, but I did anyway. I'm a fool. We ball, though. Yeah, Feather needs money big bad right now. Yeah, tell me about it. I just lost a roommate, and so I'm like, rent went up again. I lost 2 roommates in the past couple months. Nothing bad. They just moved in with their partners. I don't know if you guys heard that, but my cat just came up and said meow. I don't think she was close enough. A weird little Enby. Hey, what a weird little Enby. How's it going? Thank you very much. I appreciate that. I'm moderately happy with them. I'm not like stoked on them. I spent a long time since I painted clouds, and these could definitely be better. But I'm pretty happy with them. Your roommate has never paid anything, your wife. Do you support your whole family? You crazy trad man. Captain, this is my channel. Sadly, I'm doing a master, so it's not been able to upload much, but I'm learning a lot from you. Meanwhile, well, hell yeah. Thank you very much. Hey, what up, Faded? How's it going? Thank you very much. I appreciate that. I love you for loving my videos. Time to break out the tiny mop. Bread's so good, not gonna lie. I want bread. Very based relationship. My wife and I both work because neither of us have the determination to work enough to support both of us. That sounds insane. Hey, an auspicious gem. Thank you very much for the follow. Honestly, based on my wife and I's current relationship, I would be more of the housewife than her. She works more than me and makes more than me, and I do all the cooking. Your wife has a... What's your wife's master's in? You don't know? You don't know what your wife's master degree is in? Feather. Okay. Health science professions. Oh. Feather, you should know what your wife's master's degree is in. I mean, health science professions is a pretty, like, vague master's, so it could be. Auspicious, how is it like to be married? I really like it. I love my wife. We have a very great relationship. I'm a big fan of her. That might literally be what her master's is. I know you love your wife. You're a big fan. Yeah, I really like being married. It's great. It's like living with. I mean, it is. It's living with someone that loves you. It's great. It's not like living with someone that loves you. It is. It's you live with someone that loves you. They're just there all the time. I think that's where I'm going to put the ground level. Yeah, I think that'll be good. Oh, can't wipe that. That is my wrist guard. We mostly share the same brain cell, yeah. Not sure about anything, never loved before, always pushed away who were trying to, so yeah, I had to ask. Hey, go let someone in. Go let someone in. Just do it. It's terrifying, but just do it. It's good for you. It's good for your soul. Okay, so now what I'm going to do, I'm going to wipe off a little bit of this excess blue that's on the bottom. And then we're going to start putting in some of the grass. Callie May, gonna head out. Painting looks amazing. Thank you very much. I appreciate that. Getting hurt is also good for the soul in the long run. It's true. It's true. Yeah, Cassandra, time apart is also super important. My wife and I have a fair amount of time apart, and it's good. It's good to be an individual. Independent together, not together indifferently. Oh, I missed who followed me. Who followed me? Thanks, Brisby. Oh, you're a psych major? Hell yeah. 3 failed engagements is a bit too much. Yeah, that sucks. But in the long run, you don't know. It might lead you to exactly where you need to be. Can't be the person you are without the pain it takes to get there. I do have a reference. Oh, it's because it's tiny. Sorry. I know it's very small. I forgot I made it small. Something better to have loved than lost and never loved something, yeah. I mean, I agree with that. Jem, that makes me a coward. I was so hurt, so you never saw in there and got so comfortable alone. Now it feels like I always will be. I mean, there's nothing wrong with being always alone. It's not like you have to find somebody to love. But if the reason you haven't is because you are closed off, then you should find a way to get around that and just try it out again. Yeah. Doesn't make you a coward, though. Getting hurt sucks. I made it smaller earlier, so I did want to make it bigger. Okay, we're doing the grass. I don't think I brought my other green over. I don't have a lot of green paints for as much as I love green. Man, okay, the game the game that K-Hug and I played during your stream last night, Feather, was so bad. We actually tied, like, for most of the game, but it was just, man, I was just getting slaughtered. Should have cleaned off my palette before I put that on there. So this is Terre Verte. This is a very, very nice paint. It is a very, very subtle paint and is traditionally used for undertones in skin, which is very interesting. If you look at, especially people with lighter skin, the lighter skin you have, the greener the undertones. And that's because it is a complement of red, and lighter skin people are very red. Very curious to see how to get the whites and the green part of the image, but sadly got to go to work. I will not be finishing this all the way on stream, so if you follow me on Instagram, I'll post it on there. If you're on my Discord, I'll probably post it in there, and I'll post it to the YouTube community page as well. Yeah, thank you very much for following. Thank you for following, but also thanks for hanging out and watching stream and letting us give you love advice. This is actually definitely not the green I want to use yet, so hold on, let me grab a different green. Love advice? I love it. It's not crazy. It's not weird. That's you guys. You're the one that thinks it's weird. I love sourdough bread too. Okay, so we have phthalo green. I'm sorry it's blurry. Just believe me, that's phthalo green. Phthalo blue, phthalo green, very, very similar. Just a little bit of a different process to the pigments. And then we have green umber. Italian green umber. I don't know if... Oh, this one's leaking. That's not good. But phthalo green is a very blue green. So we're only going to need a little bit of it. And it's also a very strong pigment, just like phthalo blue. And we're going to mix it with yellow ochre. Which is this guy. And I am going to... clean this up a little bit. Perfect, totally clean. Give the horse extraordinary long legs. I would love to. If this wasn't a commission, it would look quite different. Yes. Phthalo. That is how you spell it. Have I ever made my own paint? I have, yes. Yeah, we were actually talking about that at the beginning of stream. Round 6, top frag with 6 kills. Oh, with 3 kills. Round 6, top with 3 kills. Hey, at least you're still on top. Hey, later, Joel. Thank you for hanging out. I hope you have a great day and make that Minecraft skin. Oh, I shouldn't have opened that tube of paint over top of this. Tweezers are an essential tool. Am I using Stream Elements to combine them? No, I'm using Caster Labs, which was a recommendation from Jitterybug. And it's been really nice. Yeah, it just runs in tandem with OBS. And I'm using Atrium to multi-stream. So I'm on OBS, multi-streaming with Atrium, which is a plugin for OBS, and then Caster Labs is dealing with the chat. See how strong that is compared to the yellow ochre? I have like 3 times as much yellow as I do green in there, but green is still overpowering it. Yeah, it's a pretty good base. Let's see how that looks once I brush it on there. And that's because of its opacity. So it's actually because of the kind of pigment that's in there. So yellow ochre, where's my yellow? Yellow ochre, it's a very big pigment size. Like the actual physical pieces of pigment in there are very large because it's dirt. Like it's rust, basically. It's like rusty dirt. And they grind it down, but they're still fairly large chunks of pigment. The phthalo green I use, on the other hand, so phthalocyanine is it's much more. Everything's a chemical, so I hate to say this, but it's much more of like a chemical kind of a pigment than like just a chunk of dirt. And so the pigment size is a lot smaller, and it's just more potent. Synthetic is a good word, but it is, I mean, they're both synthetic. This one is made synthetically as well. It's just more of, I guess it is more synthetic is probably the best way to say it. So I don't know if you guys can see this because this thing won't focus. It's driving me crazy. So this is Phthalo Green Lake is what it says. So this one is this is also Phthalo Blue Lake. Now a lake is basically like a liquid version of the pigment. It's kind of more similar to a dye. So like this is like chunks of dirt, but molecularly this is green. So this is like on a molecular level, the actual molecule of phthalocyanine is green in this case. This is just yellow because the chunks of dirt are yellow. So this is a much more potent pigment. Your canines are like 20% longer than normal, like longer than they normally are, or longer than other people's. Yeah, isn't that cool? I love pigments. I really, really like pigments and materials. Okay, so we're going to start with the Terre Verte, which is literally just like plant matter. It's a very transparent green, but we're going to start with that just because it is a very good, dark, transparent base. And you'll see as soon as we hit the other one how it mixes, how fast that mixes. See how much different that color is and that opacity. So we're just doing this to get like a very general to specific, a very general like layout of like, hey, this is the green area. And then we'll mix like the actual colors and go from there. There's so much dog hair in this. And it looks like there might actually be too much oil in here still. So I'm gonna kind of dab some of it off. Where did I learn all of these things? Some of it I learned from different teachers. Some of it I learned from books. There's a really, really good group. I think they're only on Facebook still, called Painting Best Practices. Painting Best Practices is a group run by George O'Hanlon. George O'Hanlon is the creator and CEO of Natural Pigments. They also are the ones who make Rublev paint. This is the best oil paint that you can buy is Rublev. He's very, very open in like podcasts and like forums and blogs and his website about informing people and making sure they know the materials they're using for like longevity, and like he's just very open with the information he has, and their company has done a ton of research. So a lot of it's from that. So stuff like that. And just a long time. Herson, looking beautiful. Thank you very much. So as a general rule of thumb with wide scan landscapes like this, you want to start with transparent and then build on it. Not necessarily in oil painting. Personally, I like to start with transparent and then build opaque with it. That's a very traditional way of oil painting. So when I work with like a big oil painting, I do the whole thing in black and white acrylic paint. And then I go over that again with black and white oil paint, shifted in temperatures just a tiny bit. So it's very opaque. And then I do a very transparent layer of color over it. And then I redo that color with opaque color. So it's like a 4-layer process. And that's just like, that's kind of how I learned to work. That's kind of how I like to work. Yeah, see how much stronger that phthalo green is than the one that I have mixed with ochre. Oh. I think my phone just died. Hold on. My phone just died. Sorry about that. I have it plugged in, but the USB port that's plugged into is not charging. I just plugged into another one. It'll be charged in just a sec. So we're just going to have to hang out for a sec and chat. Zelaboba, hi. Hi. How's it going? I just found your channel. Yeah, this is all amazing. Love this. Hell yeah. Well, thank you very much. Thanks for hanging out. Small group 29,000. Put a request to join and learn. Yeah, you bet. It's a really, really good group. Painting best practices is great. George O'Hanlon has some books too about all this stuff. Yeah. It's all he makes sure it's all very public info, which is great. Oil paint's great because I can take breaks because I have to wait for it to dry. That's one of the best things about oil painting, because I can work on a painting and then like I go to bed and like be gone the whole next day and come back and still be able to rework it depending on what paints I'm using. Downside of that though is I've had a gallery show before where I'm working on a painting and I don't finish the painting in time. And I had to varnish a wet painting before I went to a gallery, which is not a good thing to do. That it wasn't quite totally dry yet, totally cured. But the varnish would dry, so I didn't want it to be wet in the gallery, and all the other ones were varnished, so I had to varnish it too. So I varnished it, and I put it up at the gallery. Looked great. I still have it. Still looks good, but it is more likely to crack down the line because I varnished it before it was totally cured. Okay, my phone is at 1%, so we're just gonna have to wait for a sec. Anyone know any good jokes? It's my favorite go-to. What's the name of the guy who you mentioned who published books? Oh, the paint books? It was George O'Hanlon. George O'Hanlon of it might be Natural Earth Pigments or just Natural Pigments. Let me say, it'll say on this paint tube. Natural Pigments. Yep. They're so good that they even have their phone number on their tubes of paint. Yeah, you bet. Okay, I'm going to let my phone get just a little bit more than a couple percent, and then we can do it. What did the ocean say to the other ocean? We're both oceans. Was I right? I hope I was right. Nothing, it just waves. Ah, that's a good one. All right, Snarple, I'm ready for your knock-knock joke. Who's there? Oh, I have to start it? Okay, knock-knock. It's Goose. The loosest goose. Oh, I like that. That's pretty good. I have one for you, Snarple. You ready? All right, it is a knock-knock joke, but I need you to start this one also. Can I explain what gouache is? Yeah. So gouache is, it's technically, it's kind of a mix between watercolor and acrylic. It is a very thick, dry paint. Hold on. I can tell you exactly what it is, like what binder it uses. So it's very thick watercolor. So like watercolor is, it's dry and solid, and you mix water and then you use that as you paint it. So instead of it being like a dry, hard thing, imagine you pre-mixed it with water and then put it in a tube. That's what gouache is. Message can't be sent, can't send the same message in a row. What do you mean by that, Snurple? I don't know what you're talking about, Snurple. Someone was just knocking at my door, though, but I'm in the middle of a stream. So I cannot answer the door. It's very rude of somebody to come and do that while I'm in the middle of the stream. All right. Phone is still sitting at 1%, so we'll see. All right, I don't know how long this is going to last. It's probably Freddy. It probably is Freddy Fazbear. Snarple, I don't know what you're talking about. Oh yeah, you guys still having a really rough game? I really have a feeling that my phone is just going to die again. So we'll see how this goes. If it keeps dying, we might just have to end stream. And I don't know what I'm doing tomorrow, but maybe we can pick this up tomorrow. Oh, no. Oh, wait. Oh, wait, hold on. I won't be. Yeah, Snarp, will you send me your phone? That'd be great. Tomorrow is Hunters. Tomorrow is the new episode of Hunters. I'm very, very excited. For anybody that doesn't know what Hunters is, it is a PvP Battle Royale game in Minecraft. And I always do really, really bad. But it's still one of my favorite events that I get to be a part of. It's really, really fun. And also, I built the tower for this episode. So if you haven't seen it before, it's basically like we all get set up. It's free for all on a survival world. There's like 20 of us. And then at some point, we are given a name randomly of another player, and we have to hunt that player and kill them. And the last person standing wins. But there's like a tower that you can turn your successful kills into and get extra gear. And we have a new person build the tower every time, and I built the tower this time, and I'm really excited for it. Hey, welcome back, Spud. Oh no, and stream and play rounds? How terrible. I know, right? Oh, here's a joke. During the Cold War, an American dog, a Polish dog, and a Russian dog are standing near the Berlin Wall and having a conversation. The American dog says, "In my country, if you bark, you get a sausage." The Polish dog says, "What is a sausage?" And the Russian dog says, "What is a bark?" I don't get it. Feather, I knew you didn't get it. Oh, because, okay, I kind of get that. I kind of thought that's what it was. Where'd my reference go? Goose is Bob Ross. It's true. Oh, Dorvites. I didn't realize that it was you saying Dorvites joins the chat, and I was like, what? What does that mean? Hey, what up, Riley? How's it going? So the way we're going to do this is we're just getting some darker colors in there for the underneath the grass parts and to add just a little bit of variation. And then we're going to go through and we're actually going to scratch in a lot of the grass blades. And I'll go through and at the very end with maybe a fan brush, maybe a liner, and put in some of the grass that way too. Grass is deceptively tricky. Dorvets, I painted this image. I did paint this image. Snarple, have I ever heard the funniest joke in the world? I don't know. What did the farmer say when he lost his tractor? Where's my tractor? I like that one. That's one. But you know what? Another one I really like is what did Batman say to Robin before he got in the Batmobile? Robin, get in the Batmobile. Oh, I like that one too, Weeping. That's a good one. Snarple, are you ever coming back? Are you pulling it on me too? Dingle, you've done a lot since the last time you saw the painting. What did you do? Josh. You're going to Portugal on Monday evening? Hell yeah. I want to go to Portugal. Any tips on make a painting look 3D? Really focus on the value structure. Like, really make sure your values are all in line. Need to use a different brush for this. In 3D glasses. Hey, welcome back, Fizz. Thank you very much, Dorvites. We're never going to hear that joke. We're never going to hear that joke from Snurple. All right, here's the trick. Ever played CS? Yeah, I've been playing a lot of Counter-Strike lately, actually. Hey, thank you very much, Fizz. Riley, that is a horse in the picture, which we will be doing later. I'll actually be doing that off stream because I'm going to run out of time. But that horse will be in there eventually. But we're not done yet. We got more to do after this, too. CS stream when? I don't know. I mean, I stream CS with Feather sometimes. As you said that, Feather. Feather, you know when I stream Counter-Strike with you. Fox. I will definitely take a picture of it, and I will post it so you guys can all see it. When's the CS2 stream? I don't know, Feather. When do you want to do it? I love horses too. I wish I had a horse. Win BT again? I have no idea, Riley. I'm sorry. You're gonna fight the Ender Dragon tonight, right now? From right now tonight? What? Taking care of horses is smelly. That's part of them. Horses are amazing. I love horses. Okay, we're gonna end stream now. It's getting pretty late for me. I have some other stuff to do, and then I have to go to work. So this is the painting right now. We are going to do more. If I can, I will stream it tomorrow, but I don't know when. Yes, weeping. I will see you shortly. I do enjoy doing Build the Earth, Riley. I do enjoy it. It's just I have a very long list of other things that are like more central to my channel, and I don't know when I'm going to be able to do them. Thank you very much. Thank you very much, everybody. Yeah, if I can get some stream time in tomorrow before Hunters. So Hunters is at 3 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, 8 p.m. British Standard Time. If I can get some stream time in before that, then I would love to stream some more of this painting because I want to finish it soon. Now that the grass is in and the grass doesn't look very good, the sky looks really good, which I do like. But thank you guys all very much for hanging out. Let's find somebody to raid. Where are you working on the build art? Oh, Build the Earth. Dorvites, I'm going to put the horse in at the very end. So after it's dry, I'm going to paint the horse in so that it's like very crisp and stands out against the background. If I paint the horse in now, it'll kind of get a little blurry because how small it is. So I'll be able to get much more crisp and like good lines with it if I do it after the fact. Grass looks great. I think I'm not super happy with the grass yet, but we'll see. We'll see how it'll turn out. And I was not working on Build the Earth. We were just talking about it. Okay, let's find somebody to raid. We got Gutty and Melly. Who we raided Melly yesterday. Let's raid Gutty today. They're both doing one shot, so. Oh, you guys might hear an ad. Nope, I got it muted. All right. I love all you guys. Thank you all for hanging out. I will do a quick ping tomorrow if I'm going to be streaming. But just keep an eye out for it around 3 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, 1 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. Anyway, bye, guys. I'll talk to y'all later. Thank you for hanging out. See ya.